Engage by Self for a little over 3 years now. I'm the marketing and projects manager, and I have worked very closely with Will and Crystal for well over a year now, sort of working on strategy and account setup. I'll pass it to Crystal to introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. My name is Crystal Locke. I'm part of the Leadership and Learning Institute for Tufts Medicine. And I work as the senior specialist there, sort of overseeing the Engage by Cell program. And I'm really excited to be here and answer any questions and tell you guys about how we use the program. I'll probably turn it over to Will now.
Yeah, hi, welcome everybody. I am Will Powley. I'm the System Director for the Leadership and Learning Institute at Tufts Medicine. And we'll be introducing Tufts Medicine, telling you a little bit about the organization. But a little over 18 months ago, we stood up from the ground zero a Leadership and Learning Institute and partnered with Engage by Cell in that effort.
Awesome. So a little bit about Engage by Cell. We've been around for, I think we're approaching 17 years now, providing cloud-based mobile communications platforms like text messaging, mobile web apps, audio guides, fundraising platforms, really anything you can do on your phone. We have a service for it. And we provide solutions to several different industries. Here's some examples here. We've got obviously healthcare organizations, schools, universities, nonprofits, hotels. It really runs the gamut. And I'll pass it over to Will and Crystal to talk a little bit about Tufts.
Yeah, so Tufts Medicine is based out of Boston. We are a integrated health system, which includes Tufts Medical Center in downtown Boston, just right kitty corner to Chinatown, and the Boston Common. We also have hospitals within our health system that are part of Lowell General Hospital, Melrose Wakefield, and we have Lawrence, Mass. So we have 15,000 employees with over 5,000 physicians and clinical providers, as well as about 7,000, 8,000 nurses. And we're really excited to share with you a little bit more about what we've been doing with Engage by Cell and our Leadership and Learning Institute. And we've partnered closely with our Center for DE&I at Tufts Medicine as well.
So to give a little bit of background here, we're going to discuss the mobile technology that Tufts uses, and there's really two core services here. So we'll be talking about text messaging for businesses. And what we do is we provide a platform for an organization to collect subscribers who can opt in and out to different segmented lists for targeted messaging. And we have a dashboard where you can push out mass notifications, carry out one-on-one conversations. We do SMS and MMS, which MMS is multimedia messaging. That's basically GIFs, photos, audio clips, short video clips, providing more engagement. And then the second piece to that is a mobile web app, and we call it a mobile web app because it doesn't require a download. It's not housed in an app store. It's not going to take up space on someone's phone. It's immediately accessible via QR code or link, and you'll see that a little bit later. We'll give you a QR code to a little template of their mobile website, and everything is drag and drop. So we have content like videos, photos, PDFs, PowerPoints, engagement tools like surveys and quizzes, and you'll see that a little bit later as well. So Will, when you first came to Engage by Cell, what were the challenges and goals that you had in mind to solve?
Yeah, so, we were a health system in the Boston area that was actually coming together as a health system. There are all these individual entities, hospitals, and organizations that were basically acquired and formed into a common one system for healthcare. And this was just right in the middle of COVID. Our key challenges were bringing together 15,000 employees who all have been working independently in their own units, and really bringing them together through learning. And so with a working session that we did with our executive team, our CEO, we decided that learning or investing in people and becoming a learning health system would be one of the key strategies of the organization. And so forming this Leadership and Learning Institute was really key. Now, you can see here that each entity had its own learning management system. There wasn't any common intranet portal. All the email addresses were all unique. And we needed a single location where people could register for courses. We needed to also have a tool that could get into the hands of our frontline employees, our nurses, our nurse supervisors who really didn't maybe have access to a laptop or computer to the learning platform. So we really were excited to partner with Engage by Cell, who we could trigger out text messages at a moment's notice on things that they could access, and it would be very accessible. So that was our strategic challenge that we had coming into the program.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been cool to see you guys grow and all of the iterations that you've gone into using texting and mobile web. Did you want to speak on the mission, vision?
Yeah, this is our one pager that we really have been grounding all of our learning experiences with. This was an effort that we did last year in 2022 with about 600 leaders and then over 1,000 employees input, and including our board in coming up with really the core values right there in the middle in the red for Tufts Medicine, and a new mission vision, a team member value proposition for recruiting, and then our key 2023 priorities. So you can see on this page that everything we're doing around with Engage by Cell is aligned to our strategic initiatives. Invest in our people is right at the top there on the right, you can see, and really this Leadership and Learning Institute that does that. So it's pretty exciting when you think about if you're in an organization that's bringing together multiple entities, you've done acquisitions, or you're trying to merge together, bring everybody into one team. It's been a great tool for us.
So I mentioned a bit earlier that Tufts and the LLI specifically uses text messaging and mobile web apps. Another piece of this is a task manager, which is essentially an extension of our mobile web app. It's an interactive checklist that an employee would log into, and they would see all of the tasks that they need to complete in a set time frame. And as they check those off, we actually also have the capability for a manager to be assigned to a group of employees and look at their progress through the tasks and be assigned a list of tasks themselves as management. So it's a pretty cool tool that we'll get into a bit later. So the first thing I wanted to touch on was how you utilize text messaging. And this is actually a screenshot from my phone. I'm signed up to receive all of these text messages, so they're real. Could you guys speak to that a bit?
Yeah, so I'm actually responsible for sending out these text messages. So I try and keep them a little bit lighthearted and fun and engaging. But this is such a wonderful way for us to stay in touch with people who sign up for our classes, for our new leaders as well. We also have a wonderful peer mentoring program, so we can connect people across the organization and have them sort of check in with each other. So this text messaging platform has been such a wonderful way for us to advertise our catalog of offerings, all the different classes that we offer. We can put a registration link right there in the text message that sort of like prevents more clicks for people. You just go right to it. And we also have just our learnings, right? It's just right there on your phone. If you're taking the T home from work or waiting for the train in the morning, you can click on that hyperlink whenever you have time and see what we have going on in our catalog. So it's a really great one-stop shop way to get that message out.
How does this differ from your email campaigns to employees, or is it kind of hand in hand? Do you use both?
So I would say that we use both. I think in terms of text messaging, we definitely have targeted groups. That's one of the great things about this platform is you can have specific people sign up for specific areas. And so when you're sending out a text message, you can send it to everybody. You can send it just to your new leaders, which is a little bit different from email because some of our employees have to be at a computer in order to receive those emails. But if we have them sign up for text message, they're getting it right on their phone, on the go, whenever they have time to check it. So it's a great way to just provide that access that we were looking for.
That is very true. I wonder how many people on the call have unanswered emails in their inbox as opposed to text messages. I have 0 unread text messages. I won't tell you how many emails, but it's a lot. Okay, so the mobile web app, I know, Crystal, we were chatting a bit about this. And Will, you said earlier, you treat it as a one-stop shop because there was no intranet of all of the resources an employee could get to in any one place. And many organizations have different systems with 100 different logins. So how did you utilize this tool to kind of bring everything together?
So I would say the web app is probably the most useful tool that we have in this in our organization in terms of having just one place where people can go to access this information. And I love the way that it's organized. We have like our Leadership and Learning Institute button. We also have some other buttons that we're collaborating with other teams as well. You can click right into our catalog of offerings. You can click into our learning sprints. We also have some leadership programs. So being able to send out a specific link to a specific page is wonderful. We typically will utilize a link to just go to the home page of the web app, which gives people the opportunity to see everything that we have available on there. But we love our catalog of offerings. It gives access to all of the nano learnings that we offer, which are about 45-minute trainings on Zoom, and registration links are right there. You can see our entire quarterly calendar of everything that we offer, as well as all of those other resources, such as things on Workday, DEI materials as well. So we love our web app. This is such a useful tool for us.
Awesome. I love the idea of learning sprints. Are those kind of like little micro lessons?
Yeah. So they're kind of just little articles. We do one a month on any kind of topic that we feel is relevant at the time. I think the last one that we did was on a leadership topic, and they can be anything from organizational skills to take a breather, mindfulness, just whatever we think our organization would benefit from just a very short 2 to 3 minute read.
So you're utilizing the task manager in particular for onboarding new leaders, is that right?
Yeah. So we have a new leader orientation every single month. And at every one of those classes, we put up a QR code. We have our new leaders sign up for their task manager. Their direct report, their manager will get a notification that they've signed up for this so they can check in on progress. And then through the text messaging app, they'll actually get a notification at these different intervals, 1 week, 1 month, month 2, to check on their tasks that they still need to complete. And it's just been such a wonderful tool for our new leaders to stay organized, to network across the company, make sure that they're taking time for themselves, they're taking their PTO, all these little reminders that we want to make sure get integrated into their progress as they transition into that new position.
That is something I noticed when I was looking at task templates, is it's not just you need to go meet your manager and you need to complete this. You're also putting in for like check in with yourself. How are you doing? How was your experience? I think that's awesome with your task manager. Okay, so this is a QR code to a template of the LLI site. Obviously, some of the information there is proprietary, so it's been taken off of this template in particular. But if you scan it, you should be able to click around on a couple of their icons, like their catalog of offerings, and their learning sprints are pretty awesome. And you mentioned earlier, so when you're doing classes to build your list or get people into the text messaging list, you toss up a QR code. Are there any other ways you kind of get people to subscribe and grow your lists?
Yeah, so not only do we do the QR code, but we also have in our email signatures, we have a little link to sign up for the text messages as well. So every email that we send out through LLI, people are getting that in their inbox. We'll pop links into the chat when we do Zoom meetings. We also add it to our company newsletter. So that goes out to all 15,000 employees. You get to see that every single week. So there's a lot of outreach that we do in terms of communicating this out.
Awesome. And let me know in the chat when everybody gets a chance to scan that QR code and get the site pulled up. Are there any ways that you have utilized the app, Will, that initially maybe you never thought that you would utilize this app for?
It's interesting. When I was with a different company during COVID, I started using a message-based, text-based company just to send out alerts to all our employees about COVID, like just a text message, or call in if you're sick, or we utilized the text messaging for that. And when I came to Tufts Medicine in 2021, I was brainstorming a little bit about how do we outreach to people who are on the go, don't have the laptop, don't have the computer, so initially I was just thinking we were just going to get the information out to people, and then with the web app, that was kind of something I hadn't even thought of initially, and then getting things on the web app was really a nice feature. And then initially we didn't really know a lot about the task manager and being able to really think about onboarding from the first 365 days. So adding that task manager in really solidified people who go through their first year with a lot of questions, a lot of learning about being a leader. We provide a lot of tips and guidance, and then check off things so they don't forget. And I've always gotten comments from the managers of who have new employee leaders. Oh, I'm so grateful for this. This is so great. And I don't have to remember when to remind them of that. I think one of the other things that's new for us is we're starting to see other departments or other functions in HR wanting to utilize the app too, like our Workday rollout, which is next month. We're utilizing that for all the Workday training. And so that just will increase traffic to our Leadership and Learning Institute as people go to take and register for Workday training. And then we still have 4 different hospitals with 4 different timekeeping systems. So that will also be housed on this, going forward in the future. So there's a lot of things that linking with the DE&I Center, being able to link with them is wonderful. So we found a lot of new uses of it over the past year or so that we've been partners, and it's been pretty exciting.
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, the Center for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion is also a client of ours, and they have a mobile web app as well. And both of their mobile web apps have links to each other. So that's another way to really utilize both portals to take you to even more resources. So before this call, I went over to the account and just pulled some data. It's pretty impressive. Over the last year, over 22,000 texts have been sent. There have been over 30,000 page views. Do you find that employees have really adopted this tool and it's been kind of easy? And I think sometimes people get scared to utilize text messaging for employees, but most of the time people are so used to that being such a primary form of communication, and it's simple and it's easy and it's convenient. What's the feedback been?
Yeah, I'll just go first, and then Crystal can. But one of the cool things about your phone here is when you scan the QR code, it gives you the option to save it as a home screen icon. And that's a really cool thing that is part of this. And so I feel like we're just scratching the surface, honestly. I mean, we have a lot more work to do to improve our outreach to everyone across. And you know, our goal from a DE&I perspective was to increase access. You know, just like in healthcare, we want to increase access of our patients to care. We want to increase the access to all of our employees, including our physicians who participate in this institute, to have access to the information. So we've been pushing it a lot, but I feel like we just still scratched the surface almost.
Yeah. Did you
I would
ever
add to that and just say that, like, every time we send out a text message advertising either our new quarterly catalog or another class, you know, coming up soon, a new class that we're offering, we do get traffic on that. Like, we do get registrations from those text messages going out. So it's not like they're being ignored. And we see the data for it, you know, not just from when we advertise our classes on their newsletter, but those going direct to people really does have an impact.
Awesome. We spoke a little bit about providing materials to a staff that isn't necessarily sitting at a desk all day. Maybe they can't hop on Zoom. So do you post recordings of classes, maybe resources from them if they miss a certain course opportunity?
So we definitely have some programs where we will record, mostly our leadership programs. We'll record those sessions and have those available. We also have a little section on our app called NanoCasts, where we actually take the highlight reel moments from those leadership Zoom meetings that we have and just make them into 2-3 minute clips that people can read on the go. And then we have our little learning sprints as well. So yeah, I mean, we definitely utilize different ways that we can have little bits and pieces of training that are either live recordings or just a readable or a downloadable, you know, PowerPoint or file of some sort, different ways that we can get that message across.
Well, you mentioned scratching the surface, and I know Workday is a new addition to this app. Are there any other departments or any other uses that you guys are kind of planning for in the future?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. We just had a meeting this past week with our engagement and culture team. And so they're going to utilize this for our engagement survey with Press Caney. It will be another channel of reminder communication, but also a one-stop place where they can get resources and so forth. Our IT group has still not been able to get to the point of integrating all the locations into one common intranet. Even when they do that, I think we'll still utilize this in some way to get messages out, and the distribution of text messaging on the phones is probably here to stay. You know, people are becoming used to it, and we haven't received, the only complaint we've received in the last year on text messaging is one time we sent out a text message and we sent it out, we forgot to put the right time zone, and it went out at 6 a.m. Eastern, which is before business hours. And we did get feedback like, hey, send it during business hours, send it during work hours. And so that was good. That was a good learning, a good feedback, but always just to remember to not to blow up people's phones off hours, when people are sleeping.
Yeah. And there's best practices to go by from the CTIA, and generally phone carriers protect text messaging pretty well. So companies like us would never give someone a phone number that would be utilizing it to, I don't know, do something nefarious, or that we're trying to avoid making it appear spammy or get a bad rep, like email has become just full of spam. So we're pretty careful about who we allow to have these numbers, and you guys are pretty mindful and careful of times a day, like you mentioned, or the rate at which you're texting people. You don't want to text them 5 times a day. Then I really think they would get annoyed. So, since you guys have started with Engage by Cell, the app has grown immensely. I know we chat probably every couple months, strategize, maybe change some icons out, add some new ones. It's really a living, breathing tool that works best when you nurture and love it, like Crystal and Will have. Do you guys have anything else to add on these final points here?
No, thank you. Thank you for the time that we've been able to present. We'd love to interact with anyone who has questions.
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, we'll give you guys a couple minutes to enter them in the chat here. Make sure you're sending them to everyone. Give you guys a couple minutes. And then at the end here, I'll pop up email addresses if you guys have any questions for myself, Crystal, and Will.
Yeah, I noticed that some of the folks on the call, like Jill and Dana, are using some aspect of this technology, which is really cool. I think that's where I kind of started with it, and found that enabling it to have more access, more features was pretty appealing to our employees.
Yeah, and text communications for emergencies, that's a big one we've been seeing lately, is people integrating text messaging in their emergency alerts plan. And really, it's probably the most efficient way to send an alert out to all employees, letting them know, hey, weather's bad, or I don't know, any type of emergency that would come up. So we have quite a few clients that utilize it for that. Okay, I'll pop up our contact information here, and we will also send a recording of the session out along with the slides. And thank you so much, Crystal and Will, for being a part of this. It's been awesome.
I see a question here. Maybe I can just answer it for Michael.
Yeah.
How long did it take to set up and go live with your first text? Honestly, it took us like literally a couple hours. I mean, it was the great thing is we held a leadership meeting, an all leader meeting, our CEO, to kick off our Leadership and Learning Institute in June of 2021. And we had a little register for the app, the text messaging distribution app, to get information about learning. And we had like 300 people register with their phones, all right on the leadership call. And then immediately we're able to access the tool and type in a text, and we sent our first access our first learning sprint to click on it. So that was pretty smooth, actually. And seeing everybody just register really quick with their phones, it was amazing.
I remember that. Yeah, we can get the account set up effective immediately, basically, and then it's essentially up to you, the organization, when you want to start it. And that was a good way to start, I think, putting it in a classroom setting and popping that QR code up. And then we got a question from Dana. If we're interested, where do we start? So you can shoot me an email at Anna@EngageByCell, or pop your email in this chat window and we'll send you some more information. Basically, we just chat with you, show you the platform, and you decide what's best for you, and then we get you set up. Awesome, everyone. Okay, well, thanks again, Will and Crystal, for joining.
Thank you for having us. Have a wonderful day.